This is your daily market review for Monday, February 26th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Monday, February 26th, 2024. Hopefully you had a great, wonderful weekend. Let's talk about the market. So we know the market is going into kind of a paradox here. After going parabolic in some names acting like absolute trash, the market has done what? Started to chop around. Are you surprised by that? It really shouldn't. It's not easy. As we talked about, there's reoccurring patterns within market dynamics. Retest, retest, retest. And we've talked about V bottoms, V tops, whatever you want to call them, are very unlikely. And most time that's what people are expecting. What I've always warned is that, the first sell off the highs gets bought. First, pop off the bottom usually gets sold. And so you get this choppy action. It can be retesting. It can be new highs, new lows, exact highs, exact lows, lower highs, lower lows, all that kind of stuff. Higher lows. And that's always possible. And so let's dig into the dynamics. Because again, I think a lot of people are chasing this action and they're going to get penalized. Interesting action to do Berkshire today. Big candles. And we'll talk about it within the financials. So if you're new to the channel, want to join the Discord room, a link in the description below. I appreciate it. Go check out the Back to Basics series. It's also on my website, thetradingagent.com. Get your recommended reading. Get your interactive brokers. I'm telling you guys, please be careful. And also check out what I would say is probably very important, the Goldman ad. Oh, it's not even on this one. It's on the homepage. I would hope, if I remember right. Somewhere in here. Yeah, get your Goldman 5.5%. Here you go. Here's the link. YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell again. All these videos are 2 videos on education. Going into the end of the first three business days of the month, please be careful. Also follow on the Twitter, posting all of our thoughts, ideas, chats. Hopefully it is helpful as can be. All right, CME Watch Tool, 2.5%. We know the next Fed meeting in March, as of right now, is kind of a mute point. A pause is what is expected. Bitcoin, as we've talked about, watch this 50,000 level again, refresh it just because of TradingView. What did we do? I said watch it, and then look, broke out, right? Michael Saylor, right? Bitcoin all day, right? Getting his cost average up. We said many times, if we hold and chop up here, it's great for bulls. Now you have the channel upside high. And again, this is where, resistance is equal to support, right? You go back, I need to go back even further. These levels were resistance. Now you got the next, resistance. If I had to guess, probably somewhere up here in the 58,000. So, but watch the channel highs. That's how I would just argue. Just be careful. Because again, I'm not bullish or bearish on Bitcoin. I'm just trying to be technical about it. We talked about the 20% pullback that would come. We talked about it popping. Does this feel like a trap? So we talk about chop, and then trap, or is it chop, and breakout? Your guess is as good as mine. Again, I really believe when the Feds pivot and start flushing liquidity into the market, that's when gold, commodities, Bitcoin will absolutely go bonkers. And maybe Bitcoin does go bonkers. I've said that a million times. I wouldn't short it, but I would just trade around your positions. All right. Oil, chopping endlessly. I don't really know what to say other on it. Just be careful, please. Natural gas, love the bottom down here. Love it, love it, love it. Again, does it have to just rip right back? That's the thing I'm trying to warn folks. Not necessarily. UNG's tough. KLD short was the one. When you zoom out, you go back to 3.5-year lows. Doubt there's much downside here. But again, if the market gets slapped around, natural gas will not be immune. Just letting you know. Dollar at the 20-day, getting choppy. Be careful. TLT, choppy, right? Holding the 100-day channel lows. Is it going back to channel highs? I don't know. This area is really important here at the 93, 94 level. So, ten cuidado. Again, I'm just watching this action. VIX holding up today, meaning flat. You have a 2-day range. Keep an eye on it. VIXN up. VIVIX up. Just barely. Just keep an eye on it. Again, I think, the market is playing games at the highs, as it naturally does, at the lows. I wish it was easy. I wish you could just say it's this, and that. We'll see. This feels like, again, a novice gap. If you saw the gaps in March of 2020, same kind of action where you had big gap ups to signify the top. We'll see. Again, watch what happens when you get back to the 503. We've talked about QQQ double topping, which is interesting because it's been leading, right? Is that a double top? Keep an eye on it. IWM. We talked about this lagging. When you zoom out, it's still 20% below its highs. When you zoom in, you go, man, I'm watching this gap. If it fills and then fails, short city, Dia, here you go, holding up pretty well. And the reason why I say short city on IWM is because the IWM is the economy. I mean, it's not these magnificent sevens. It's not the indexes. There's a reason why the IWM is lagging. Gold, chopping, not really trusting much on it. Silver, and this is the thing, right? We talk about, like, it's really interesting to see gold and silver act so poorly, and then you watch the miners, and it's like, yeah, they're lagging. GDX, because if the miners were a true value, buyers would be stepping in hand over fist, and this thing would be rocking and rolling. GDXJ, again, chopping around, feel some gaps. AEM had a nice bounce a couple days. Now it's chopping, you know. I mean, I guess even Friday was technically up. Watch the 100, 200 day. But you have to remember, went from 57 down to 44. It's a bounce. AG, this has really got nothing on it, right? Look at this thing. Just Newmont making new lows. Someone knows something. PAAS, same kind of thing. Like, leave these names alone. All right, Taiwan Semi. Let's get into tech. This is where it gets interesting, right? You got multi-day ranges here, 131, 130. Watch this area because I think you can short against these references with incredibly tight stops. That's all you have to do. Micron pops on some news in the chip sector, as we know. Look at today's action. That is just fugly. I mean, they sold it all day. AMD, everybody chasing it up here. Cannot break out. Here's a reference. Again, you use the 180s short against. Looks good. NVDA, I think Friday is the top. Even if it's just near term, it's going into chop. That candle's just fugly. Same kind of thing. SMCI, as we talked about, momentum. It's losing. You have 827. I mean, you really got to get over this 1,000 to really feel any push. I mean, I'd use the multi-day range and just keep an eye on it, right? Intellectual property thing has been a dog. I mean, it's broken the channel lows, but it's done this before. We'll see. I mean, it just doesn't look good. SMH, I love stocks down here under 4. We've talked about it. I mean, at 4. I mean, it's tight. Define your risk. You're at channel high. Overbought, incredibly overbought. Adobe, we talked about this one being double top. Near term, probably oversold because look at the drop. Held the 200 day. Now you had the 8 day, filled like that gap area. I keep on it. Sorry for the sniffles. I got clearly some sinus issues here. It is what it is. And it's no, someone goes, hey, you snorting, you know what, before you do your live chats? I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Good one, bud. All right, channel low. 200 day Apple breaking. I mean, this is what's tough to trust the market. Like, it doesn't look good. Amazon, this one's been holding up, riding the lightning. We've called that what it is. I mean, was wrong on it and then just let it go. Again, I wouldn't short these until they break certain range lows. Like, same with Meta. Like, you could chop up here. Maybe it gets to 500. Who the heck knows? But watch the 450s. CRM, look at that rip today. I mean, it's just, wow. Decent volume. So I'm curious if it sustains. Gemini, Google, I mean, look at that. Ooh. Gemini, their AI feature is just an absolute mistake. Coming into the channel low, see how it does. Microsoft, chop, fizz. Going nowhere. We said that 415 area. NDAQ has, again, been an absolute laggard. Why? Keep your eyes and thoughts on why. Talked about it over and over. If the exchange isn't leading, why? MicroStrategy. Here you go. Here's a retest. Double top, maybe? Or breaking out. I mean, when I see Bitcoin at 58,000 making new highs, it wouldn't make sense that MicroStrategy should be making new highs. If it doesn't, that's a red flag. It's like gold and the miners not following. So just keep it on it. Netflix, 590s, chill. Roblox gets up to 47s, doink. Tesla, talked about chopping around. Okay. I mean, I've said this over and over. I would not be surprised if the gap fills, but it's been a dog. Zoom out. This thing was at 400 at one point. People are like, no, what's going on? It's like somebody knows something about the future of electric cars. United States. Airbnb, love the chop. I mean, the rejection zone up here. If you zoom out, there's even more. Costco, wow. I mean, this is where you be careful. Wrong about this one. Let it go. I'm just watching it because sometimes they can go out and they form a certain formation you're looking for. Then you can jump all over them. Starbucks, as we talked about, choppy, sloppy mess. FedEx, you would think if the market economy were ripping, Federal Express would be making new highs. No, it gaps down on earnings, and it literally can't get anywhere. Caterpillar rips on earnings. We talked about and then being done. Watch this like 327, 328 area. Nucor, is it going to break out? Look volume's just really not there. But it is at new highs. So just respect. Respect, man. You got to respect it. Again, I wouldn't go long it or short it, but just watching. X, we talked about them not getting bought out by Nippon Steel. However, I think there's other bidders. We've talked about that. VALE, another global growth name. Nothing. Arrow, copper, just been chopping around. I mean, bounced off the lows. Okay, great. CCJs, we talked about, double top. Now you're at some support area. Ooh, is this a trap down here? About the dead cat bounce, or is it just chopping before it flops? Again, I love commodities, but not until the Feds pivot. CF, zoom out. Can't really get over this 80 plus. Mosaic, chopping. I mean, all these names are just like, if you want to play in purgatory, you go ahead. And I mean, NTR. I mean, they're all, I don't know, just chop. AA, another global growth name. I mean, look at this. I mean, aluminum should be ripping and roaring. XLF. This looks interesting because Berkshire doing some dances. I posted this. Watch the 2-day range up here. I apologize. Man, it's windy out there. Now look. Volume's not great, but this thing has been just being stretched like a rubber band. Feels like it's going to snap at some point because we told you, banks hold all the risk here. JP Mo blowing off. Morgan Stanley can't get out of its own way. Chop. Bank of America, chop. Right? Goldman Sachs, chop. Look at this, man. Every time it gets into the 395 plus range, just doink. So again, I don't know if you can go long this if you really want to, but I'd be watching the low end of range because that's when it gets easy. Carry, we talked about like, hey, don't you think that junior banks should be ripping? No, they don't look good. XBI, nice breakout today. Does it confirm? That's the question. I mean, you're in the upside target zone. I mean, you could get a little higher if you zoom back out. But I keep an eye on this. If it breaks out, it breaks out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Solar, again, I get so much flack for hating on solar. And again, I don't have a personal hate against the sector. I just told you the stocks were crap. Gotta hold 41. Sedge, look at its earnings, post earnings. Gap's down. Man, this thing could be at $20 a share sooner than later. ENPH. We talked about the 200-day, watching the 20-day. Great little short for solar. Check this out, right? What do you got here? Chop. It's got earnings this week, so please be careful. HYG, another favorite of everybody's, which is, it's again, you got to be crazy to be buying corporate debt here. Now, a lot of people say, well, Dan, and the feds are going to bail them out. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't trust it for whatever reason. I think you got to be crazy to buy it. Oil, same old story, chopping around. It's tough. UNG, we talked about waiting for the lows. Now look at the decay on this thing, right? It's a little crappy. That's why I like shorting the KLD. I think that's the easiest one. We talked about once it got multi-day range, you got it. You got some pops. I don't know, 148 to 150 range seems lovely. XOP just seems to be stuck at the 140 area. I mean, it feels like it could break out, but we'll see. CVE is a name that a lot of folks have been liking. It's trying to build. It's trying to build through. It's hitting some resistance here. If it gets through it, it could freaking launch. Valero, been holding up pretty well, right? Can't argue that. So ExxonMobil, this one's been lagging, but it is building up. Meaning, look, a new high off the lows. Needs to get over this 105, the 200 area. MPC, look, I mean, this has been holding up really well. Gas names, I'm surprised. Ooh, that wick isn't really that sexy. We'll see if there's sellers up there. Just keep an eye on it. Occidentals, everyone loves Oxy, and it's like Buffett doesn't care. He doesn't care about your position if you love it. He's like, I'm selling calls and I'm selling puts in the 50s to mid upper 60s. And he's like, I'm going to do that until I'm 100 years old. If you're not already 100, I'm just kidding. EQT, natural gas names did pop with natural gas, but then chop. Last but not least, I love Flex LNG. Come on, drop this thing, because I think we will be natural gas exporters in time. I think so, big time. And so the stock, to me, with the yield it has, I mean, it's probably yielding somewhere in the 10% range. I saw Congress buying a bunch of this in the last couple of years. They feel comfortable about it. Somebody does. So who knows? All right, if you're new to the channel, need help with real estate, please do not hesitate. Always here to help. Use the Calendly link below. If you have any questions about the market, what's going on, what to expect the next week, don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, it's kind of a big market data week. I mean, you've got some durable orders tomorrow, and then Thursday, PCE, Chicago PMI, pending home sales. You got some stuff coming to the end of the week. And then also being the last and first 3 business days of the month, it's going to be an interesting game. I think you will see some chop as necessary because of such. Like you'll probably have a balance of buyers and sellers because of markup and markdowns. But then after that, who knows? Please be careful. If you have any questions, please reach out. Have a great night. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.